Welcome to the first episode of WiseManMeant channel, where we explain what wise men meant by their quotes. If this video helped you understand these life-changing quotes, please like, subscribe, share, and more important, apply them to your life. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life. When it's everyone against the other, you're expected to know the answer, long before there is even a question. You're expected to be ahead. It's taxing. With high expectations set out for you, one would naturally feel afraid of asking questions. They'd be afraid of being deemed foolish. But would you be foolish if you're trying to expand your knowledge? By asking questions, you're opening up several avenues for yourself: confidence, knowledge, understanding, and betterment. On the other hand, by restricting yourself from ever asking more about what you know less of, you're restricting your path. You're limiting yourself. Raise your hand and ask that question. You might be wrong, you might be considered behind, but it's a step towards expanding your reach. Give a bowl of rice to a man and you will feed him for a day. Teach him how to grow his own rice and you will save his life. Finding comfort in laziness is perhaps the worst thing someone could do to themselves. When you find comfort in doing nothing and having things handed to you, you're paving the path to your own downfall. What could be worse? Becoming an enabler, someone who finds excuses for another's laziness and takes on their responsibilities as their own. But how long are you here for? How long until you must take a step back and the person you've enabled finds themselves in a situation where they must fend for themselves? You've handed them everything from the very beginning, and now everything seems out of reach. Who's to blame? Education breeds confidence. Confidence breeds hope. Hope breeds peace. For every choice you make, you create a timeline inherently affected by those choices. It could be something simple, something you wouldn't think much of. However, this one act might just have changed the world. The act of educating yourself, asking questions, and wanting to know more about whatever is around you. It might not all be in a textbook, it's the world that's around you, a world vastly undiscovered. If you educate yourself, you instill confidence in yourself. This confidence breeds hope. Hope that you might one day change the world, affect others with your ways, and become someone you've educated yourself into becoming. Eventually, you'll get there and find peace. Maybe in yourself, or maybe to those around you. You cannot open a book without learning something. Look at whatever is ahead of you, a door, a window, or a clock. You cannot open the door if you do not know how to walk. You cannot close the window if you do not know how to lock it. And you cannot make use of the clock if you do not know how to interpret numbers. For everything that is there, you need sufficient knowledge to be able to access it and make use of it. A book is not the ultimate source of knowledge. It is what comes next after you've acquired sufficient knowledge already. Learning the alphabet, making coherent sentences, and interpreting words. Do not for a second think that within a book lies all that you need to know. No, you need to learn at every stage. And then, when you open that book, you enter a new stage of learning. Learn avidly. Question it repeatedly. Analyze it carefully. Then put what you have learned into practice intelligently. A farmer learns that there are 4 seasons: summer, autumn, spring, and winter. He then asks, what specifies these seasons? How are they all different from one another? He goes through them all, one by one. He learns when they come and go, and what they bring with them each time. The following year, that very farmer harvests a successful crop. He was able to practice what he had learned in his harvest to get to where he did. In front of you is a world that is yet to be discovered. There are questions that have yet to be asked, and there are answers that have yet to be understood. Knowledge never stops. There is no satiety when it comes to learning. But if you question, you'll learn enough to analyze what is around you, and then use what you have learned and analyzed to become successful. A man who commits a mistake and doesn't correct it is committing another mistake. The day you make an excuse for your mistake is the day you've lost your way. The mistake could have been a slight oversight, a little late to an event, forgetting a minute detail on a project, missing the bus, or anything that could otherwise seem insignificant. However, if you blame the event organizer for conducting the event so early, if you blame the project for having so many minuscule details, and if you blame the bus for leaving early, you're refusing to accept your mistakes. The territory comes with false confidence in yourself that manifests in ugly ways. You now feel entitled to making those mistakes, believing that the world around you is in the wrong. What began as slight mistakes have now turned into grave ones. Allow yourself the humility to accept your mistakes before you become confident in making more of them. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it. This is knowledge. Education is incomplete without humility. It is the belief that no amount of knowledge could be absolute. Your mind could not reach its maximum capacity to learn, ever. Ahead of you is a world you know so little of, a world you are constantly gauging at and learning more of. To want to learn is to accept that you do not know all that is there. Knowledge is twofold: understanding what you know and allowing yourself the freedom to accept that there is more to know. If you believe, even for a day, that you have reached absolute knowledge, know that you have conspired against yourself. Learn as if you were not reaching your goal, as though you were scared of missing it. The goal from the second you open a book is to be able to one day finish it. The goal when you step into work is to be able to make it to the highest floor one day. The goal when you start a degree is to be able to walk away with the highest honours one day. Whenever you enter a new world, you dream of being able to one day venture outside of it a better human being. Strive towards those goals, not just with the intention to have it over with, but to be able to hold your head up high and exclaim, "I did it." The essence of knowledge is having it to apply it, not having it to confess your ignorance. Between two men, one who tells you he knows everything, and the other who confesses that there is more for him to learn, whom would you believe is the more intelligent one of the two? It's the second man, the one who was humble and truthful enough to accept that his knowledge is not absolute. When you allow yourself to fall into a false sense of security, one where you think you know all that is worth knowing, you're actively engaging in a war against yourself. On the other hand, if you accept ignorance in matters where you know little to nothing, you're allowing yourself the freedom to grow. Knowledge is, at its very core, the application of what you already know and the humility to accept that which you do not. Only then would you be able to progress. Learning without thought is labour lost. Thought without learning is perilous. Consider a man who picks up 2 bricks and stacks them on top of one another. This man has the eventual goal of building a house for himself. The bricks might be stacked on top of one another, but there is no cement that binds them together. The house, naturally, would not stand. The man we're talking about here has a goal in mind. He has decided something that he wants to be done, but the labour is fruitless should he never learn how to achieve that goal. Learning without thought, that is without knowing what to do, is labour that is lost. Consequently, thought without learning, that is without questioning and analysing answers, is dangerous. The man would never build a house. The structure he does build will topple over him one day. We hope you have enjoyed and learned from this episode of WiseManMeant. If so, please leave in the comments below which quote explanation you liked most. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified when we release a new episode.